Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho on your Monday. Bob Richards is here to talk movies with us. Some good ones. Well, they sounded good, I should say. But you're gonna.
One was good.
That's not an all-encompassing thing. But over the holiday weekend, it was a longer stretch of time for people to get out,
Stretch of time. A lot of people went to the movies as well, but it was all about the Minions over the long holiday weekend, and the Lone Ranger was left in the dust. Despicable Me 2 was huge with $142.1 million over the long weekend and $82.5 million Friday through Sunday. It cost just $75 million to make. Meanwhile, The Lone Ranger cost $250 million to make, but took in just $29.4 million over the three-day weekend and $48.9 million since opening on Wednesday. Add those numbers together, and they spell bomb. Kevin Hart, Let Me Explain, took in $10.1 million for 8th place. While it's not as heartwarming as Despicable Me 2 is very funny. This time we have more Minions, lots more Minions, and that's a good thing. They are hilarious. Steve Carell reprises his role as Gru, who is now trying to be good since he's a father. Benjamin Bratt stepped in as the villain to take over for Al Pacino when Pacino said the character was offensive. I don't think it was offensive at all. The only thing even mildly offensive here are some fart jokes. But again, not really offensive, just funny. There's humor for parents and for kids. There's nothing despicable here. 4 stars out of 5. I was a huge fan of The Lone Ranger when I was a kid. I listened to the recordings of the old radio show and watched reruns of the old TV series. But I'm not a fan of this particular version. The problem is they've taken The Lone Ranger and changed just about everything. Johnny Depp is the star. They should have called it Tonto. He mugs at the camera, he feeds the dead bird on his head, he acts crazy. Armie Hammer is bland. Love interest Ruth Wilson has a strange resemblance to a character on The Simpsons. Helena Bonham Carter has a gun in her prosthetic leg. There's lots of action, some too dramatic, sad moments followed by awkward comic moments, then more action. Talk about uneven. There's too much going on to keep track of. Oh, and it's 2.5 hours long. I was exhausted by the time it was over. The Long Ranger, the very long, exhausting, and not so entertaining Ranger. 2 stars out of 5. Kevin Hart, Let Me Explain, opens with an extended amount of filler, nearly 30 minutes of people talking about him, shots of him backstage, then a weird stage party where he says he needs to explain some things at Madison Square Garden. I started looking at my watch after 15 minutes. Finally, the concert part begins. Hart certainly is animated, but I didn't find him funny. Running around the stage in a sort of frenetic gymnastic, he appears to blurt his lines out before they can make him explode. Over and over, he uses the word that caused Paula Deen to lose her entire fortune, and the audience at the Garden laughs. I didn't. Maybe he's an acquired taste. The movie's only an hour and 15 minutes long, and that was okay with me. But with 30 minutes of filler, it amounts to about 40 minutes of stand-up, and that's a short HBO special, not really a feature film. Maybe he needs to explain that. Oh, and why this isn't funny. 1.5 stars out of 5. For my reviews, a look at this week's DVD and Blu-ray releases and more, head over to my website, bobrichardsmoviereviews.com, or link to it at idahoonyourside.com.
Tell us what you really think, Bob.
Well, I love that you like Despicable Me too, because kids are chomping at the bit to go see it. Good.
It was a blast.
Meanwhile, The Lone Ranger is the second Disney year in about as many, the second Disney movie, I should say, in about as many years that they spent a huge budget on and
didn't get much in return.
Just a
John
little
Carter
bit.
was the last one.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
right.
doing very good for their bottom line.